I bring home 6 figures a month. Granted, they're blind box figures, but I bring home 6 figures a month. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Angie. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below to join our family. And if you're not new, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be talking about blind boxes and blind bags and things that you should know if you're planning on collecting or if you've already started a collection, as well as my personal favorite brands and places to buy them from. So to the right of me, you will see my trinket wall, and this is pretty much where I store all of my blind box and blind bag figures and keychains and little plushies and things like that. And honestly, it is exploded to the point where there is no room left, so you will see that there are now like overflowing into all parts of my home. I've always been a collector of keychains and plushies and little knickknacks, or trinkets as we call them now, but I really started getting into it when I went to Japan in 2019 and I discovered Gacha. Now if you're not familiar, Gacha or gachapon, also known as gashapon, are capsule toys, and essentially you don't know which one you're gonna get, so it really is a blind box or a blind bag figure. They can also be keychains or other type of useful items. I've seen tissue box covers, I've seen washcloths, etc, etc. Now this specifically is one of the one-piece gachas, but they essentially look like this. It's a ball and inside is your mystery prize, and they pretty much split it up by show or series or collection. Now they're not always based off anime. A lot of times they have different things, like they have different cars, they have little miniature brands, like I've seen like mini chip bags and mini sushi rolls and different things like that. There are countless ones, but that's kind of where my obsession with miniature mystery prizes and toys kind of began. Now if you're already interested in blind boxes and blind bags, then you're probably already familiar with some of the very popular ones, like Skull Panda, which happens to be one of my personal favorites, or Peach Riot. Now one thing that I absolutely love about blind boxes and blind bags is they've become so popularized now that you can pretty much find them for whatever you like. Whether it be for a TV show, an anime, a specific character like Sanrio, or if it's something like a blind box of a plushie. They have them for, like I said, miniature brands, really whatever you like at this point. They have blind boxes and blind bags for it. When I first started with the gacha, of course I was in Japan, so it just kind of got away from me that I was buying all these miniature keychains and miniature figures, but I just thought, oh, it's okay, they'll just go on my shelves with my anime figures. I had no idea that my collection would explode to the proportion of large that it is now. But the issue is that blind boxes and blind bags have become so popularized, you can find them pretty much anywhere. You can get them at Hot Topic, you can get them at Five Below, you can get them at Walmart, you can get them online, you can get them in random stores, you can get them at conventions, you can get them at street markets. They're literally everywhere. If you're like me at all, you tend to hyperfixate anytime you see something cute, just take a moment and pause, because I'm going to tell you why you want to be more intentional with the figures you buy, because you will end up with an explosion of them and then you'll end up wanting to get rid of them so you can get a collection that you actually want that comes out later on. Now one of the most popular places, if not the most popular place, to get a lot of these blind boxes and blind bag figures is Pop Mart. They're actually one of my personal favorite places, but before you break the bank on Pop Mart, I'm going to give you guys a little bit more on what you should know before you buy these, because I've already gone through these same problems. Now if you have a brand that you specifically like, maybe it's Skull Panda, or maybe it's Crybaby, or maybe it's Labubu, the super popular one that everybody loves. I actually don't like Labubu, and I was so confused when I realized that I own a Labubu, but this is simply because I had actually partnered with Pop Mart in the past and they sent me an advent calendar and this was one of the ones in it. I had no idea it was Labubu until Labubu got popular. I literally was like, what is a Labubu? Labubu is scary. Walked into my living room and looked up at my shelf and was like, girl, you own Labubu. So the first thing that I would say if you're going to start collecting these figures is, of course, to find the brand that you like the most. My personal favorite specifically from Pop Mart is Skull Panda, because the detail and the intention that you can see that goes into each collection they come out with is just kind of out of this world. They have so many collections that I want to buy, but because I already have so many Skull Panda figures, I've been very, very selective. Now when it comes to blind boxes and blind bags, me personally, I will not spend the money on it if there is even a chance that I will get one that I wouldn't like. Now, if you're not familiar really with blind boxes and blind bags, usually there are several that you can get in one box or a collection. Usually there's between maybe 6 and 12 designs, including or not including the possibility of a few rare ones. If I see like, oh, this collection is really cute, but I wouldn't want that one, I wouldn't want that one, and I wouldn't want that one, I won't buy it at all. If there are some that you would be unhappy with, I simply wouldn't recommend buying the blind box. One of my favorite loopholes is you can go on Mercari or eBay, and a lot of times people are selling the individual figure. Now, it might be a little pricier than the retail value of getting the blind box, but at least that way you know you're getting exactly the one that you want. So for me, I've kind of given up on the chance of getting the one that I want and just gone with I'd be happy with any of these. And that's how I start off to determine which one I would actually buy. If you're gonna buy something like this and there's a bunch of them that you don't want, you've just wasted $15. Which is why I say be very intentional with the blind box figures that you collect, because it is quite easy to buy way too many or end up with way too many, and now you're in over your head and you don't have any room. I literally have to buy more shelves because I simply don't have any room. But that's not gonna stop me from buying more figures. But if you're starting out, this is the safe way to do it, is to be very intentional about the ones you buy so that you don't end up with too many that you don't want. Now, like I mentioned, blind bags and blind boxes aren't strictly just figurines. There are all types. I have ones that are little pouches, like zipper coin purses. I have ones that hold pens and they're actually practical. I have ones that are plushies. I have ones that are keychains. There are just a dozen different kinds. So you have to be, like I said, and I'm probably gonna say this a million times in this video, you have to be very intentional. And this is honestly with any type of collecting, but specifically with the minifigures and these little figurines, because you think because they're small, you can get as many as you want. Oh, they fill up your space quite quick. And sometimes you end up with ones that you don't love. Now, I think this one is cute, but it's really not all that practical. And so it kind of got shunned from the rest of my collection, and it lives like in the corner of my apartment with like my camera equipment, and it's the cameras that I don't even use. So this is what I mean when I say, if you're gonna get them, make sure you like every single possible choice, because it is a mystery, and depending on where you get it from, you can't return it. A lot of them do not allow returns. You're not supposed to be opening the box in the store if you are in store. Like, it quite literally is a mystery. It's meant to be like a fun, adrenaline based experience, but for me, I don't like the anxiety of it. If I know there's a possibility of me getting a character I don't really want, guess what? I always end up with that character. If there's a chance that you would get something you don't want, just don't even bother. Just keep your money in your pocket, or just seek out the one that you're specifically looking for, because I promise you somebody is selling it somewhere. Now, when it comes to having a collection of these, I would say don't trend buy, but passion buy. Buy the figures that you think, wow, I really loved how they designed this, or I really love the way this looks. I love the detail, I love the colors, I love the concept, or I love the meaning behind the brand or the figure itself. Because not all figures are made the same, and some of them really are not worth the hype or worth your money. I got a series of blind boxes from Kika Goods, and these are called the Yandere Girls. And I got this one, and I thought she was so cute, but it's poorly made because she's actually supposed to be holding swords, and I can't for the life of me get them in. I actually had to do an unboxing video, like it was content for the brand, and I was so embarrassed that I had to turn that video in because it was like, I can't get her swords in, or I'm either gonna break her hands or her swords trying to get them in. I'm not sure the actual price point for these. I have a couple of them that are actually really nice, but it just kind of made me weary of this series at all, because it's like, if you didn't put enough care into designing your figure where I'd actually be able to make it look like how it's supposed to look on the box, I don't want to spend my money on that. Another blind box series that I've actually become very, very passionate about, and is for the detail, but just with how cute the figures are, but in addition to being cute, they're just beautifully made, are the Lucky Emma figures. If you guys watch my shorts, you've probably seen me unbox these from time to time. I love these so much. They are insanely gorgeous, and I just love the detail. I love the way they look. I don't know if they're little bears or what they're supposed to be, but they are just so cute and the detail is insane. I love the Tokidoki blind box figures. They are very detailed as well, and I usually really like the theming or the collection or the series that they have. So this is the Lucky Unicorn one, and all of them were just different types of like luck charm based unicorns. And of course, because I'm a Hello Kitty girl, I definitely love the Hello Kitty ones. This is one of the more recent ones I got, and I'm so obsessed with this one. This was one where I was like, I don't care what I get. This is just so cool. Like even the base that she stand on is flocked. Like the amount of detail that goes into this is why I feel like it's actually worth the money. Now, one blind box series that I truly love is the Freeney's Hidden Dissectables One Piece collection. It is one of my absolute favorites because I just think the concept of it being half of the character and half of like their anatomy, if they were giving them like an x-ray, I just think that concept is so cool. However, I don't think that they're made very well, and I honestly not sure if I would spend money on them in the future. Now, one of the first ones I ever got was Don Quixote do Flamingo. I actually don't hate him. I think he's a pretty great villain. And one day his foot just cracked. And I don't touch my figures a lot, so I have no idea how that happened, but I was moving it, and when I went to move it, I realized it was wobbly. And I was like, well, why is it wobbly? And when I picked it up to put it back on the stand that it comes with these puzzles, I realized that his foot was cracked. You can probably see it here. I've tried to glue it, nothing fixes it. Like I've tried super glue, hot glue, cement glue, literally nothing works, and now he does not stand upright on this. And this is not the first instance that I've had these hidden dissectables fail on me, because one thing is the puzzle pieces are supposed to connect, and a lot of them do except for one. Like all of them are connected except for one, which I think is strange. I have no idea. I've tried it in different arrangements. That is the only one that doesn't connect to the rest of them. I think it's really weird. You could have made this a little bit better for the price point. Granted, the design and the detail are awesome, but for the price point, why is it falling apart when the wind blows? So like I said, there's a lot to take into consideration when it comes to buying these figures, but I think the main thing is just make sure you're buying figures that you specifically like and you would like your odds no matter what you get. Because again, I know that right now being a trinket and blind bag unboxings and all that is really popular, but it really does add up and it takes up a lot of space, as you will see. And after a while, it's like the collections keep coming out and your old ones start to phase out, kind of. You realize, oh, I don't really like this one as much anymore, and now you have to find out a way to get rid of it or someone to give it to or somewhere to sell it. And it's like, well, now everybody wants the new ones, so now you're stuck with the old ones, and it just can be a big and lengthy process. So I just want to say, if you're gonna go into it with a game plan. Have a place, know where you're gonna set them up, do research on all the different kinds. Like you could really spend hours browsing on Pop Mart's website. They have so many different kinds. Or you could go to Kika Goods. They have a lot of different blind bag figures. You could go to Miniso. They have tons. And they don't even just have like Sanrio and Disney. They have anime ones as well. They also have countless ones. Hot Topic has a huge selection. Their sister store, BoxLunch, has a huge selection. And then you've got places like Walmart and Target that are catching on, and they have a big selection. If you want to buy the dupes, you can go to AliExpress and get those, but even the price for that adds up. Just go into it with a mindset of knowing which ones you love, which ones you would be happy to get no matter what you get, and just be able to, you know, spend your money wisely. Because I'm looking at mine, I'm like, I don't even want to know how much I've spent on all these over the years. Now granted, a good majority of these were probably gifted or collaboration based, but I'm still looking at quite a few that I know I pulled my card out for. Now, if you're interested in getting gacha more so than like actually getting in the blind boxes and the blind bags that we have here, you can actually go on places like Mercari and Buyee and buy bundles of gacha. Like, and you can find bundles of like anime gacha or just random gacha. And I even think there's companies now that are starting to sell like blind boxes of like a collection of like 10 gacha or 15 gacha or something like that. So if you're more along the lines of gacha specifically, which is always Bondi Toys, I believe. You can definitely do that as well. I think it's nice to have a variety of everything, but of course that's just because I got into actually blind bags and blind boxes through Gacha. But like I said, it's up to you. Just make sure your collection is for you and not just what you see everybody else buying. But yeah, that was just my little spiel for people who are really looking into getting into blind bags and blind boxes and minifigure collections and trinkets, because it isn't so much a trend. It really is an investment, especially when you end up buying a lot of these things, especially if these things are very popular and hard to get. Then you might end up paying a higher price than what they actually retail for. Then you have to go into, how are you going to store them? Where are you going to put them on display? Do you have to buy new shelves? Do you have to, you know, rearrange your setup to kit them somewhere? Or do you need to get a new bag so you can have all your keychains and your blind bag keychains clanking on your purse? It's a lot of different things to consider. So I would say just focus on only buying ones that you like, you would be happy with no matter what you get. Buy ones that are, the quality is good and they will last, because like I said, with the Freeney's Hidden Dissectables, I like them, but I do not like the quality. Like, that is my drawback. Buy ones that you are passionate about. Like I said, I'm very passionate about my Skull Pandas, and I'm also very passionate about my Peach Riot figures, and I am super passionate about my Lucky Emmas. So like I said, just make sure you're buying them for you, and you keep in mind before you like hyper fixate shop on how much they will cost, because a one figure could cost you $15, and if you buy one and you end up with one you don't like, you just wasted $15. So down in the description box, I'm going to put some of my favorite brands, just in case you guys are curious on which ones I like the best, that I also didn't mention in this video, as well as my favorite places to buy these figures and these blind bags, as well as some Gacha, if I can find some links for you guys, because I know for a fact I've seen some companies that do like Gacha blind boxes. I will put all that down in the description if I can locate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!